I totally believe, and I've been saying this even back in the days when there was a structure and the major labels were in their heyday, but question everything you've ever been told about the music business. Always question your assumptions, because there are these knee-jerk reactions that people still, with all the changes, are making. Like somebody puts out a CD, even that I would question. We need to put out a CD. It's even the basics. You have to question everything. But the knee-jerk reaction is, oh, we need to get on radio, and then we need to get it in retail stores, and we need to. There's all these automatic things that people just think that they have to do. And I'm not saying that you don't have to do any of them. I'm just saying question, is this particular thing right for me? There's a lot of focus on radio airplay, but there are tons of bands that have succeeded and done well without getting hardly any radio airplay. There's a band called Fish, kind of like a Grateful Dead kind of vibe, and a jam band, and they're just one example. I mean, they're sort of an old school examples. They were signed to a major label after they built up this fan base of touring. But then just always question your assumptions. Never every piece of advice that you're told, even the stuff that I'm telling you, question. Okay, so and just ask if it really applies to your situation. And so much of my message is just the way you process this stuff. You just think about this marketing thing and just what your role is as a musician in a different way. The brain is an amazing thing. I like to talk a bit about the psychology of music marketing and music success too. The brain's a wonderful thing because it can develop patterns which are very useful to us. For instance, the thing of like just brushing your teeth. You've done that over and over since you were a kid, hopefully. And you got to the point where you can do it on autopilot. You don't have to sit there and think about, okay, I'm going to take the cap off, and am I going to put the toothbrush in my right hand or my left hand? You know, it just becomes a pattern. It's actually like synapses or something in your brain that form these patterns. And it's the same thing with getting dressed, driving the car. You do a lot of these things on autopilot, so it's a wonderful feature that the brain has that allows us to do routine things and be able to focus on other things at the same time. But what's the disadvantage of that when it comes to marketing, promotion, pursuing your career? Anyone? You don't think outside the box. You do it the same way you've always done it. You do it the same way that 1,000 other bands have done it. Is that necessarily the best way for you? Not necessarily. So you almost have to go against the natural way the brain functions. You have to that's why it takes some effort on your part to say, wait a second, is this a knee-jerk reaction, or is there something else going on here? In fact, I had a discussion with a gentleman named Bill. Bill, are you in the room? Where are you?
No, we were just talking about the idea that people aren't stupid. They just don't tend to think. And we were talking about the idea, you ever notice when you pull up to a traffic light, a three-color traffic light, and you see all the 5 cars all lined up right down that one row, and then you've got this other row that's totally open over here. Everybody just sort of does what they're told to do, and they get in that line and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's thinking outside that roped-off sea and thinking, huh, there's another lane, I'll go over there. So anyway, that's where we're from.
Bill took the lane less traveled. Give him a hand again. I used to think this was just something like an affliction that kind of older people in their 30s or 40s who've been around experienced this sort of, because we had for decades, the music business operated essentially the same way. And so I can see where someone would develop patterns and think, oh, they need a record deal, they need this and that. But it even happens with kids like teens and people in their 20s that don't have that background also they have the same thing. So I have this theory, it's actually part of our DNA now. It's part of the genetic code. I need a record deal to succeed. So, I mean, it takes surgery or something to fix that. But anyways, I'll just encourage you, whenever you're making decisions and coming up with marketing plans, always stop and ask yourself, wait a second, am I doing this out of habit, because everybody else has done it that way, or am I doing it because it's truly the best way for me, my music, and my message, and my fans?